and welcome to the Diana Falzone Show here on Paltalk. I know you're probably thinking, wow, Diana, you look jacked next to this skinny guy over here. Duh. I work out a lot. It's kind of like my thing. Right over here we have Frank Sepe, Editor-in-Chief of Metrics Magazine. This is their summer issue on stands now. You can check it out. It is definitely worth it whether you are a fitness junkie or you want to be. It teaches you how to live a healthy lifestyle and obviously look like me.
We don't advise anyone to be any sort of junkie. And you can pick it up at metrics.com. You get your free, we have a free digital version of the magazine. So if you want to be as buff as Diana or myself, you can easily check it out at metrics.com.
I don't really think there's much to show here, Frank. Let's be real. I know we're going to make you feel better about yourself.
Everything else. It is summer, so we dress light. But yeah, the Metrics Magazine, we've been, this is our 15th issue. So we've been doing it for almost 4 years now. And each issue gets better and better, if I do say so myself.
I think so.
Yeah, and Diana's actually been in a publication as well, and she will be in a future issue too, and she can see she's working hard. Look at the little guns on her.
I am
well,
actually.
We'll call them pea shooters, not any guns.
Hey! That's not nice at all. But you've really taken this magazine, and everyone knows that Metrics was a whole line of fitness supplements, correct, and protein shakes and things like that, and obviously people loved it so much that they wanted to know how to incorporate all the different routines and how to have a healthy lifestyle and eat well, and you've done that.
Well, Metrics is about shaping everybody. It's not for just your muscle heads, you know, it's not your father's, you know, Metrics. It's you know, it's current. There's tons of products for every type of body type. And the Metrics Magazine is just a great way. We present different types of routines for everyone. This issue we have the Summer Fitness Handbook. It's not too late to get ready for summer.
No, it's really not, because I mean, you can see visible results in 4 to 6 weeks, I think, if you really stick to something.
If you've been sitting on the couch, no pun intended, but if you've been sitting on the couch and you haven't worked out in a long period of time, you know, you got to start somewhere. So we present routines for everybody. So, you know, I know in the past it's been Metrics has been, you know, build huge muscles, but it's for everybody. It's about shaping everybody. And we put together this magazine to show different ways how to implement the products into diets, you know, the different types of routines. You know, in this issue we have a Navy SEAL diet plan.
Which is awesome.
Fitness plan.
Everybody who's, I think, a male wants to look like a Navy SEAL, and every woman wants to get a Navy SEAL to date.
What's her name? Demi Moore was in that movie. She was
G.I.
trained with the
Jane.
Navy SEAls.
I don't want to look like that. I'm not shaving my head. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to do the Metrics Navy SEAL routine. 1, 2, 3. No.
It's cool because we get, you know, experts in the field writing for the magazine. We had Stuart Smith, who wrote the book on Navy SEAL fitness for the magazine, actually contributed the article, and our good friend Dr. Todd Shilfstein from Fountain Medical Group wrote an article on, you know, running injuries and prevention. So.
Right. I had a running injury when I was younger. I tore my meniscus and I had to give up my illustrious cross-country career. Well, I could have gone gold.
Didn't you just say you were running from someone from the train?
Yeah, I was.
Someone was chasing you?
Someone was chasing me. I'm done with the subway this summer. I'm done. You cannot wear dresses on the subway. It never goes over well.
It's a tough place, Manhattan. That's why I need to lift weights and train. So you have muscle.
That is true. But speaking of how you got into fitness, I mean, obviously you were born with a very nice physique that you were able to just develop over time. But what got you into fitness? Because that is something that you have to be passionate about.
Well, you know, I was 13 years old, and my father was a narcotics detective for the police department at NYPD.
No drugs in your house.
No drugs in our house, and he basically, you know, he used to lift weights in the basement, and they used to call him Tom the Arm. And my brother used to lift down there, and I wasn't allowed down there. So, you know, what do you do when you're not allowed someplace? You go. You know, so I was lifting weights, and my mother just eventually said, you know what, he's quiet, just leave him down there. You know, let's let him, he's not bothering anybody. So for Christmas, I'd get an incline bench, I would get this, and I get that.
Wow.
And I was really thin and skinny, and I just, you know, I went from no girlfriends to a lot of girlfriends. So that was my motivation. Like, I was kind of a social outcast, and I just kept, every summer was like a reveal.
So
like the makeover.
Gym groupies.
I'd come out of the summer, and they'd be like, he lives next door, like, you know, where did he come from? So
you're like painting the yard without your shirt, and you're like, oh. Hey, Mrs. Carpenter, I like your daughter.
That was before MILFs back then. This is more like, you know, it had the good-looking 3-year-old girl, she was 3 years older than me, next door. So I'd be like, you know, flexing the abs. Hey, Jean Marie, how are you doing? You know, like kind of.
Want me to wash your car with my big biceps? Wax on, wax off.
Back, you know, and it took me a long time to really, like, I've been in the fitness industry for close to 20 years, so I always believe that you could learn something new every day, and I've never took the approach where I know everything and you don't. I've always tried to learn as much as I can. So books and people and seminars and stuff, I love it. That's my passion.
You just keep educating yourself.
Yeah, I just kind of love it. So, sometimes people see you and they stereotype like, oh, he's got bigger arms than the Hollywood, celebrity who has 15-inch biceps and is considered a bodybuilder.
Right.
But it's kind of like, I'm like a sponge when it comes to this. I love it. It's my passion. So I try to learn as much as I can.
Do you feel like you're obviously a very intelligent entrepreneur, businessman? And you are. And I think that people see muscles just like they might see for women, big boobs and think dumb.
Right.
Do you feel like you've had to work over that kind of stereotype?
Absolutely. When I started in the industry, I was a fitness model. So you want to throw another stereotype out there, fitness model. And when I got involved, I actually started as a bodybuilder. And long story short,
you won that,
Mr. New York, the Metropolitan. I was 5th in the amateurs in the world in the heavyweights, and I was close to 290. And I was like, do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? Absolutely not. So I kind of lost weight, caused a huge reaction in the fitness industry. Oh my God, he was going to be one of the best. And I went in a totally different direction, started doing a fitness model.
But what made you just make that kind of 360 shift?
I kind of like, at the height I am was like an inch shrink. But at the height I was,
how tall are you?
I'm 6'1.5".
Right, you're about my height.
Never got to 6'2". But, I really didn't want to be walking at 290 pounds. It's a 24-hour day job. I have a lot of respect for bodybuilding, but it's not what I wanted to pursue. I wanted to do other stuff in the industry. I felt like I could do more. And as I was training people back then, so once I stopped doing that, I got into fitness modeling, and I did over 100 different magazine covers.
Wow.
I started doing the ESPN Cold Pizza Show. I started writing books. Got interested in magazine publishing, and I kind of took it and ran with it. People like, you're so lucky. And I'm like, you don't create your own. You create your own luck. It's not like, oh, Frank, do you want to run this magazine? Oh, Frank, do you want? No, you have to. When luck presents itself, you have to take hold of it and run with it. You have to be prepared.
Absolutely, and I think you have been prepared. How is that making the transition from being in front of the camera to being behind it? Because you are also a photographer. You photographed the Metrics calendars for the Metrics magazine.
I got a good picture that I took here of Mr. Shamar Moore on the Metrics cover. You can actually see, again, I keep going back, metrics.com.
This was in LA, right?
Yeah, this is in LA, and we did a photo shoot with Shamar, and I've shot a lot of celebrities, and I think being in the fitness world and being a model, I always took offense to when photographers would blow them out with so much light. You diet for 16 weeks, you're ripped, and a photographer, because of his style, he puts 15 lights up and washes your whole body out. So when I was group editor for the 4 publications for Vitamin World, for Axel, Health Smart Today, and Health Watch, I'd get the photos and I'd be like, these stink. And I'm like, I would be so upset if that was me. So I started shooting, and I learned to shoot from a guy named Mike Ruiz, who's a celebrity photographer.
Okay.
And I learned from this guy, John Cariglio.
So did you apprentice with them?
Well, what I did was I from shooting all the time, I kind of learned the angles and stuff. And then John Cariglio owned a cam art studio, which you shot at, and we shot a couple stuff for you.
Yep.
And he's like, cool little old Italian guy, and he'd be like, no, you do that wrong. You do that. Check the ISO, and like, there'd be different photographers and celebrities coming through those doors every day, and we had an office there. So I picked up stuff tremendously, and then I worked with my partner Robert Evangelista on things, and we would like kind of learn, and he'd teach me some stuff, and I would teach him, like, and just kind of spiral into it, and then. I've been shooting now for 7 years. It's crazy. Like, I want to write a book on all the behind the scenes stuff.
Well, I was gonna
but then I'll never be able to shoot again.
Yeah, right. I was going to ask you, I think a lot of women, and this is meant too, when you're posing in your bikini for, for the summer, and a lot of women like to take pictures on the beach and whatever, do you have angles that women should practice at home? Because I know our Paltalk users, we're vain. We are vain SOBs here. No, I'm just kidding. But is there any kind of like angle that works? Because you see these women who just, they don't know how to pose their body because they think that these models all look like this in real life, and it's like, no, I was contorted into a position where I'm holding up a virtual wall and pushing out my derriere. Well, like, no one looks like that in real life.
Well, that's the cool thing about being in the fitness world, like, you know, being a judge too. I just bikini and fitness, the bodybuilding. I could look at somebody and say, okay, there's no way we're going to shoot them straight on because they're thick-waisted. So turn this way, bring your belly button around, turn it into the light, bring your shoulders around. Like, there's definitely, everybody has their own angles.
Yeah.
Like, I think the first half hour of a photo shoot, you get to learn somebody's looks and angles. Like, you know, we always tether it, so we're looking and we're like, oh, okay, that's not good. And they'd be like, how's the pictures? Like, great, great, great. And then we figure out, like, okay, this is the angle that we're going to shoot. And some people, you know, like yourself, they look good from every angle.
Oh, yeah.
So then we have, like, you know, we have no issue. But, you know, I learned a lot. For the Metrics magazine, we shoot so much for each issue.
Yeah.
And you know, I take pride in a lot of shots, like the Shamar Moore shoot. That was really great in LA. We shot there, and we did a boxing routine. And, you know, it's funny, no matter how much of a celebrity you are, everyone, you know, is concerned how they look. Everyone wants tips. Everyone wants this. It's like, it's cool. So I love shooting. You know, it's one of my. It's part of the creative process.
And you also authored many, many, many books. You can get Frank Sepe's The Truth, the only fitness book you'll ever need, which is pretty much the entire way that you can lead your life in the truth system, you call it, and people can use this as their workout plan, or also diet plan, and it kind of is like the Bible of fitness.
Well, it's funny, it's the only book you'll ever need, and then I wrote 4 more.
Yeah, what about that, Frank?
But yeah, The Truth, that came about, I was actually on the beach, and I had a napkin, and I was like, and I was thinking a friend of mine who used to be managing editor of People Espanol, Richard Perez Feria, he was like, you need to write a book. And I was like, you know, but I don't want to write a book about, like, get fit in a week, get fit in 7 minutes. I wanted to write the truth and go over all the misconceptions out there and myths about fitness. So the Truth Plan is basically, you know, a healthy lifestyle, how to live a healthy lifestyle. So I came up with that book, and there's a lot of books like that Spiral into the Abs book. I wrote a book for Metrics, which was Shaping Every Body book, which is cool. You know,
that is cool.
You know, I think too, like I said, you never stop learning.
You never stop learning.
You know, I think each book gets better and better, you know, so not to say a new book's coming out soon, but nay. But Kindle now is...
Can you give that the name yet, or not yet?
Not yet. Okay. Right. But yeah, Kindle's cool. Like, I just saw on Kindle, this book has been out for some time now, and it was like number 22 on Kindle in the fitness section, and I was like, that's cool. And I always get emails, and to me, when you write something, you really don't know if it's good or how people are going to respond. And then when you get the email, I was going to say letter, but we don't get letters anymore. Get emails and say, you know what, you changed my life, you inspired me. You know, money's always good, yeah, sure. You know, I'd lie and say, oh, you know, I don't want to get paid for this. But, you know, it's great. That's like, wow, I really, you know, I did something, I made a change for somebody.
Well,
that's important.
I think if it works, it works. And obviously, this is resonating with people.
Yeah.
My question is, when you talk about the truth, what are the 2 biggest misconceptions about fitness?
The 2 biggest misconceptions, you know, I'll take it from a male and female perspective. Females, that if I lift weights, I'm going to get big muscles. Now, there's guys in the gym that have been working out for 10 years, and they look exactly the same.
Why?
Because it's a whole program. The diet has to work in conjunction with the program, the workout program. You know, and people like, it was funny, I had a client, not to jump on topic, but I had a client back in the day, you know, I had a client, and she's like, you know what, Frank, I don't know, I want to continue working out with you. And I said, why? She said, I'm just not getting the results. And I'm like, okay. So I go, let me see the diet. I'm like, you're following this to the T? She's like, yeah. So there's a deli, like maybe a block up the street. So it was funny, after we worked out, you know, about 15 minutes later, I went to the deli. She's eating a roast beef sandwich with mayonnaise, and she's got chips. And I looked at her, I'm like, you know, I'm like, yeah, I wonder why it's not working. But that's one of the big misconceptions. One of the big misconceptions is that you're going to grow big muscles. And obviously, men are filled with testosterone, women aren't. There's no way they're going to be able to gain as much muscle. But you need weight resistance workouts. You need it. As we all get older, our muscles atrophy. We want to be able to do daily activities, whether it's pick up your grandkids, pick a soup can up. You want to have functional strength. So that's one of the biggest
And is
misconceptions.
that also true for, my whole family has, the women are very slender and a lot of them get pre-osteoporosis and then lead to osteoporosis.
Exactly.
And one thing that I keep being told by my doctors is you are really high risk for osteoporosis, so you should be using, you know, weight-bearing exercises because that actually helps your bone mass.
Well, unless somebody like a Dr. Oz or someone comes across and says that, it doesn't really resonate with people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, you check with any doctor and they're starting to come around now and say, you know what, weight training for senior citizens, weight training for the, you know, it's like you need to do some sort of resistance training, but you still have the people who are like, oh my God, lift weights. I'd rather do yoga. It lengthens my muscles.
I just like to
It's
lift
like,
babies and puppies.
yeah.
It's
And the other misconception too, and this goes for everyone, is protein. People
Yeah.
are like, you know what, what'd you have for breakfast? I just had some granola and I had a little bit yogurt. And I'm like, okay, where's your protein? You know, and it's funny, people realize, well, protein is for bodybuilding. Protein is for your hair, for your skin, for your nails. It's for everything. So one of the big misconceptions is, I don't eat enough. I'm going to stay away from protein.
And you don't you need like a fist size of protein? Isn't that like what a serving size
Whose fist?
is? Well, I mean, depends upon the body, right? I
Yeah.
mean, maybe for me, I need my fist, which I think is pretty sizable.
I always think, you know what, you take a plate and you break it in your 2 fists, your
Okay.
protein, your carbs, and then the other one is your greens.
Gotcha.
So you like, put the 3 fists
Well,
together.
it's funny, if you don't have any protein, like I've been doing I'm not even going to tell you, forget it. Pretend you're not here. I've been eating Captain Crunch every morning, and I realized that I feel like awesome 10 minutes out. I'm like, yeah!
That's for the sugar rush, says the Captain
And then
Crunch.
about like an hour and a half later, I'm like, doo doo, and I'm
Crash.
shaky, and I don't feel well.
Well, that's the thing
It's
too.
protein.
You're so busy. I'm so busy. Like, how do you get your protein in? How do you get this in? And that's what I love about metrics. For me personally, is like I can grab a shake, I can grab, you know, a protein bar. You know, and I could like, and there's different flavors and stuff, so I never get sick of it. But another misconception is, oh my God, I'm getting so fat from this shake. I'm getting so fat. I'm like, well, what else are you eating?
Yeah.
Well, you know, think about it. If you went to Starbucks or you went to another coffee house or whatever it may be, not even Starbucks, but there's any place and you ordered the high-calorie drink, you know.
And luckily they put the
Thank
caloric
God, yeah.
you know, intake in there, but sometimes you don't know. People think liquid means no calories,
Right.
and sometimes that's more than a meal, and you're not satiated.
Or
So-
even a salad too. You know, once you throw all the ingredients on top of a salad, like you know the cheese and everything else, you're upwards 800 to 1,000 calories.
A lot of people only eat the toppings too. It's like they don't touch the lettuce. It's just the topping.
But it's almost like reprogramming your brain. You have people who are like, you know what, I'm going to grab a muffin. That muffin has 500 calories. A shake or a protein bar has like 200, 240, depending on what kind you get.
Right.
It's like, you know, and it has protein, carbs, amino acids, like there's...
But maybe
I
people
can't
have
grasp.
the shake and then they also eat a meal in addition
Well,
to that, you know.
Well, see, some people have the shake, and then they have the dessert, and then they have the drinks.
And
then,
people also don't realize how much they're eating. I think there's a lot of mindless eating. Like, I realize that if I decide to have popcorn, I'm not even hungry, but I just keep eating it because I'm at the movies or I'm watching something, and I'm like, okay, mindless eating.
I know, and it's funny, is now all these places are putting the caloric intake on stuff, and it's you go in place, and usually you'd say, wow, look at that, that's good, I'll have it. It's only this big, it's a muffin, or it's like, wow, it's 450 calories. You know how long I have to run on the treadmill or this to do that? But, you know, that's a good thing about the Metrics magazine is that we give you programs, you know, I don't think one size fits all, so I think, you know, shaping everybody so it helps everybody. And that's what the magazine is, routines and diets for everybody. So, again, a lot of people don't know what to do, or they hear what their friend does.
Yeah.
My friend says, look, Diana, I'm just eating orange foods. I just want everybody to be healthy and live a better lifestyle.
And the way you do that is by picking up the new summer issue of Metrics magazine on newsstands now.
Go to metrics.com, you pick up a free digital copy. Free! Who gives out free stuff?
Nobody gives out free stuff anymore. And obviously this is worth it. So guys, check this out and we will see you soon. Frank, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Diana. I had a great time.
Bye.
Bye.